Elon Musk, I can't believe it. He never understands. Look at the data. Your Teslas are bought by the libs you're trying to own.
Think what you want about Elon Musk, but he certainly exposed the elitism of America's media establishment. Through this weekend, America's cable channels couldn't stop talking about how Musk affected them, not you. He banned a bunch of reporters for sharing the location of his private jet, then unbanned them. That sent the Twitter elite into a tailspin. Musk then launched an online poll to see if he should stay on as Twitter CEO. Colby Hall's here, founding editor of Mediaite, premier website for the news about the news. On Balance resident philosopher joins us. Now, I can't get over the just sort of extreme narcissism of your general cable news hosts and even the broadcast networks and the New York Times and Washington Post, that this is all about whether Elon Musk has banned one of their reporters.
Well, there's a whole lot of narcissism to go around, and I think that sort of like if future historians will look at this as the like narcissist age of media and politics. You know, I think Elon Musk, as I said before, is a carnival barker, right? Like he loves to sort of create a spectacle. There's an old joke where someone gets tired of talking about themselves, and Elon's like, oh, you know, enough about me. What do you think about me? And that's exactly what happened. And you know, I think media people just sort of took the bait, right? Like he added this question, and you know, he had sort of a tough few days in Twitter with people getting banned and getting called out. I know a guy who called him the villain, may have been you, on Thursday because of Elon Jet, the 20-year-old. But yeah, I mean, I think these media people love no story more than talking about themselves, and Elon just gave them, you know, the rope, and they hung themselves.
Is the media so obsessed with themselves and so obsessed with Twitter because that's sort of the world that they all live in? It's their professional sports league, if you will, that they can't ever give this story up?
I think that's a part of it. I think that's certainly part of it. I think there's the other part of it is that Elon Musk is a fascinating character. He was until recently the richest person in the world. You know, give it a few months, and if stock prices go up, he'll return to being the richest person in the world. He's also started a really fascinating conversation about free speech and jokes and meaning itself. So, you know, I'm not sure, you know, of course, the media loves Twitter way, way more than the average bear. And Twitter is very, very influential in the way that the news narrative, but the way that people are up in arms, like I'm on Twitter a lot, but I just don't get it. Like it's as useful as you want it to be.
You're on Twitter a lot, but real people are not on Twitter a lot. I mean, the vast majority of America doesn't focus their lives every minute on their Twitter feed. They're concerned that they can't get their kids antibiotics that's in amoxicillin that's sold out, and there's pharmacies now rationing ibuprofen and Tylenol for kids. These are real life issues.
That's exactly right. And again, there's a massive disconnect between sort of coastal elitist sort of news producers and anchors who are, of course, caught in their own bubble of where and how they get their information, where and how they have their reach. And by the way, I think this is a bipartisan concern, different angles. But yeah, of course, I think for the most friends from suburban Kansas City could give two craps about the latest that's going on Twitter when they care way more about gas prices are going down.
Right, if Taylor Lorenz has her Twitter feed or not is really kind of irrelevant. Real quick, Twitter files today. These are the records that Musk is releasing. The FBI's influence campaign aimed at executives at new media, Twitter and other social media companies' work. They censored and discredited the Hunter Biden laptop story. By December 2020, Baker and his colleagues even sent a note of thanks to the FBI for its work. Baker worked at Twitter. Is this getting the attention it deserves, or is a number of media organizations ignoring it because it brings up sort of uncomfortable truths that they don't really want to talk about regarding their own coverage?
Oh, great question. Maybe all of the above. I think the narrative produced in today's Twitter files was really, really heavy-handed. There was good journalistic reasons to sort of stay away from that story. And, you know, we don't really know. The Twitter files are a narrative story being put out to appeal to a certain audience. There's no real transparency there.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.